Yeah, some of the stock of the weeks that I will probably be optimistic about. I have a list of them here. These are few ones, and these are very much 500 phone two companies that I believe will likely have upward moved this week. So one is Nvidia. You know, if you look at Nvidia generally, this stock has been up or down. I remember the last time I traded this stock was about $195 per stock, and it went up to about 205 or $206 and came down. But let's say generally, let's look at historical trends for the last 3 months. So the much it has gone is $235 74 cents. But if you look at the trends, it kind of trade down to somewhere on average. You might look at that. Um, it's somewhere here. So roughly in about 210, I'll put it that way. It went high again, so I'll still put it down to about 210, and then stabilize more. So that's June 11 all the way to June 16. So it kind of stabilized in the 200. It came down again to 195, 192, but I don't really bother about this. And that was during the recent, I think this was when the labor market data was out. So again, these are typical news media reaction. And then went all the way up again to 196. They kind of dip here from 110 to. So if you look at the trends over time, I'll say this stock is stabilizing at the $210 per share. At the moment, it's trading at $205.58. If we look at it in the last couple of hours, it started today from 202 and then went all the way to 205. Again, it's I would say stabilize at $210 per share. Now the question is this: is this stock overvalued or is it undervalued? When I don't take of either side, I think the stock price at the moment is ideally what uh, the share value should be. Uh, that is because of the kind of business this company is into artificial intelligence, chips, and other things. Now, when I make a comparison between NVIDIA and Microsoft Incorporated, there's a little bit of discrepancy there in terms of the uh, usage or if you look at it from the commodity point of view. Commodity in this sense is the products that people consume from this company. So eventually, Microsoft still have an edge over this NVIDIA. That is because of the multiple products that the Microsoft company has built over time. Those includes applications that you and I use from our home. But in one way or the other, we also use NVIDIA products in the artificial intelligence that we use, whether you use large language model or other kind of software. So, but I don't see them to have that much kind of market share. They may have a lot of contracts with government and others, but in terms of market shares, in terms of number of people consuming their products, I mean, our life is much more built on Microsoft company because we use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Windows in our phones and many ways. So life is kind of built around that, and every single business you find around you have a Microsoft products in their organization. So that kind of make it a giant company. But when you look at Microsoft stock price, is trading between the 380 to 400, and it actually went as much as 420 something of 30 before it came down recently due to the last quarter report. but that is going to go once share those kind of big company gets to a particular price of share, they trends around that price for some time, and if the market is stable, they are still go back to that price anyway. So, um, given that this company will be closely comparable to Microsoft, even though there is a difference in the asset value and customers' consumption of their products, valuing it at this point, at this value of 205, I would say ideally it's not overvalued and it's not undervalued, just at the right price. But what I expect from NVIDIA is that the stock price value is going to go up in the long term. And that is because they are developing a lot of products, or they are conducting a lot of research on different products that they could develop that you and I will end up be using in our day-to-day life. Like the laptop I use here is a laptop that is built with AI on it. So it came with AI, with a lot of artificial intelligence on it. Uh, the NVIDIA is also building their own products, and I believe one day you see their laptop. You and I might do away with our existing laptop, except our laptops catch up with them with the same AI. I so much love Microsoft products in terms of the Windows. Computer that doesn't use Windows, I will be a little bit skeptical to use those computers because I've tried in the past. It wasn't my favorite. I've used Mac computer. I was a lot of hassle trying to get this to install on it, work out around it so quickly. It's not about change culture. It's just about the functionality. I want something that could be done in speed, and I want something that is feasible. Where if I need to install app in the computer, I could easily do that without much problem. So this is a stock that I think will probably have upward trade this week, possibly with if the economic situation remains constant as it is, which of course sometimes it does it. Now the other one is I'll be looking at Microsoft company. I've talked about that a moment ago. Microsoft will be one of those that that I will likely see will have some upward trade this week. That is because in the last couple of weeks, this Microsoft has seen some kind of emotional market reaction, giving some news media about the lawsuit that was coming to this company. So people kind of sell off at that point in time. If you look at last week, it traded as low as in the 370. Let's take it all the way back here. Okay, so it traded as low as in the 370. Um, and if you look at it in the last month, it dipped here to even 350. That was June the 25th. I kind of rebound all the way up. And right now it's traded as much as 405 on July the 16th and kind of regaining momentum back to the 400 level. So I see that to be upward traded this week. They have suffered kind of those kind of news media disclosure, and I expect that they will rebound. So it's one of the stock to watch out for this week. If you're looking at something to include in your portfolio, might be one of them. So think about it and do some research to be sure that this is an appropriate stock you can invest in for a long time. So these are quite a big 540 companies that I have on the list for this week. Now, if I look at the other company, will be I'll be looking at um, Alphabet will be another one. So let's have a look and see that. So this is Google. I personally have not traded Google for a long time. Um, it kind of remains. stable as a point, but it can easily dip. Um, where Google products tends to have a lot of advantage is the multiplicity of their products and the and some level of leverage that they have as a big company with so much control over search engine as well as other applications, streaming and others. But I've personally believe that the trends might change in the future because I don't know how many of you still go to Google to search for information. I rely more on AI for my search because I could toggle my AI to work in a specific way, but I don't have much control over Google, and it gives me information sometimes that may take some time to find out a piece of information that I could easily get in less than a few seconds on using some of this large language model. But their Gemini is also very powerful, in as much as I've said that. But I think there's more to develop on that. The advantage I see in Google that will continue to make them to be sustainable and a strong company to look into is their data, the amount of data that they have. Because your AI works in a way of regression. Now that regression based on the volume of data. When I look at the OpenAI, ChatGPT, and Crowd, they don't have access to that much data like what Google has. If you look at Google AI Studio, if you know how to use Google AI Studio effectively, you will actually realize that the Google AI Studio is more reliable than many other AI platforms. But you just have to know how to draw down, narrow down to your specific profession, create a different projects where they focus on a specific area. They are more likely to give you more precise information when you compare that to other AI platform or large language platform like ChatGPT or Crowd. Now let's have a quick look at this. In the last couple of hours, you could see it traded from um, $347. It went all the way up, kind of moved very, very fast. Okay, so now you can see where it is from $347, and then you have it all the way to $358.80, and now it's trading a little bit downward. But again, if I am looking at it from weekly perspective, I would say that it has a likelihood of trading upward this week, given the current level of trading that he had in last week, just kind of landing last week in a very poor performance. But this week, I'm expecting some kind of rebound. So it's something that I will consider to be an upward move. So Amazon is another one I have. It's another one I have on the list, and I also have Meta on the list. I'm not a fan of Meta, but it does appear to be one of those I research on, and I expect it to have a kind of upward trade this week. So in the end, we might have a look at it to see what the average stock price is by the end of the week. Now the bearish ones. The number one I have on the bearish one is Tesla. I have Tesla as one of those. Tesla leaks my bearish watch list because this week investors remain kind of concerned about the string profits that is coming from Tesla. I'm not surprised about that. So the profit margin tends to be going downward instead of keeping that momentum or even increasing. And also there's a low demand or slowing demand for their vehicle. Um, at the moment, they enjoy the protection of the USA government for not just allowing those any of those foreign-made electric vehicle to come into the country. But I do expect that over time you might see some local competition. But beyond that, America still very much relying on gasoline car, and that tends to be having impact on demand for their vehicle. I guess Tesla will have to actually come up with innovation where they will ideally come up with affordable electric car. At the moment, they still stick to that premium car. Yes, high quality electric car, reliable electric car, um, well designed electric car. I love the Tesla products, but then many people can't afford that. And again, market share will be a problem here. And if you actually find a competitor who will come into the industry with a premium and also affordable car, they will be in trouble. Um, but in as much as I've said that, they still enjoy some advantage at the moment. But this week I expected to have a kind of bearish trading in the system. Intel is another one that I consider to have downward trade. So Intel continues facing it is continuing facing intense competition from Nvidia and AMD in the AI chip. And one of their core competency is that AI chip. So when they have this kind of intense competition with especially Nvidia with so much capitalization that they have to invest in research and development, I think they have a strong goal to actually bounce back. Their price has actually gone really, really bad in the last couple of months or if not years. So let's have a quick look at Intel. I remember buying this stock at a point, but I disposed it because I did just see a way forward for the company. All right, so you see where they trade from uh, today. They dip as much as 95, went all the way up. So not really much up as much. One could argue that $5 is good upward trade, but they don't keep that momentum. That is the problem. They don't keep that momentum. So it has to be a sustained price growth. Look at that. Okay. When I go back to 1 year, you could see where the price was 1 year ago. So they kind of suffer stiff competition from other company. It's probably not a company that I will personally invest in. They've not really kept that momentum of growth over time. If you have invested here when the price was 21 or 24, and now you're looking at it at 123 and 120, 131, the highest here is take it down to 133.99, so about 133.99. You'll be very lucky, and this will be a good trade at that point in time. But there are people who bought it when the price was a little bit more higher and suddenly kind of keep very low price for a long time. So it was a very difficult for investors during this period of time. Okay, you could see that. Imagine you trading buying this stock for $66 and it traded. So this was $6. This was uh, July 31, 2000, and then went all the way down. Look at how long it was there for. Um, Kind of managed to bounce back. Let's say somewhere 2017. I don't think a lot of investors would have kept this investment for that long for it to recover. So my personal experience in trading their stock um, was not a present one. So um, they've bounced back, but again, as I said, they have very strong competition. Given their rise in the last couple of months, I don't think they're going to maintain that going forward for a long time. So I expect some kind of bearish trading this week and perhaps in the next couple of days. All right, so the other one I have here is the Rivian. The Rivian is still spending more on cash than it generates at the moment. So cash flow here might be something that I'll be concerned about with this company. Okay, so now let's look at So I also have Boeing on the list. I have Lucid on the list. So I'm not going to talk about all of this. So we can just have a quick look at Rivian. So I expect that to be bearish. If we're looking at the most recent IPO issue, it might be the Standard Nuclear, which I talk about in a different video. So you might take a look at that. So that itself, I don't say it as be bearish and I don't say it to be optimistic either. So I'm just going to say it as something that's going to maintain that momentum of $10 a share for this week, but that might change a little bit going forward. So if you look at Rivian Automotive, basically look at where it's trading at the moment. So we're looking at 1732 and the highest it has traded today is 1793. So in the last 1 week, price trade was 1866. But in as much as I expect it to be bearish, but I see this company try to maintain some momentum within the that average price of about $18. Okay, so I will expect that to be relatively stable kind of price, but I don't expect any upward swing for this week. Okay. So let's look at 5 years history, kind of really disappointing performance from 5 years, from $128.60 all the way trading very low to that much of $16. If I'm in a long-term game, it might be in a company that I will consider to invest in. But if you are looking at a short term, you just have some extra cash you want to keep, like your emergency cash, you want to recover that in the short term. Ideally, it's probably not a type of stock that I would want to risk in that situation. All right, I hope you guys find this video useful, and if you do, subscribe to the channel and also give me a thumb up so that other people could see the video and be able to watch it.